trying. I'm really trying. Wait, please.
The film opens on Halloween night with a terrified man being relentlessly pursued by a sinister figure known as Jester, a Joker-like character clad in orange, topped with a flamboyant hat. Jester's magic is as unpredictable as it is lethal, enchanting one moment, deadly the next. He is easily provoked, especially when his craft is mocked or dismissed. The man, haunted by memories of his young daughter Emma, is reminded of the family he once abandoned. Now, he is attempting to rebuild his life and is expecting another daughter, Jocelyn, who would become Emma's stepsister. Yet, no matter where he goes, visions of Emma continue to torment him. This psychological torment is all part of Jester's twisted design, to burden the man with guilt and keep him emotionally destabilized. Overcome with remorse, the man reaches out to Emma, pleading for forgiveness. She responds coldly, rejecting his apology and declaring that sorry doesn't fix the hurt. Devastated, the man sinks into despair, leaving him vulnerable. At that moment, Jester reappears. The man, broken, confesses, "I tried. But she won't speak to me." It becomes clear that Jester has orchestrated the emotional collapse from the beginning. With the man at his lowest, Jester prepares the stage for a tragic finale. In a chilling twist, the man's necktie transforms into a noose. As he adjusts it, the rope tightens around his neck. With a swift pull, his fate is sealed. Jester disposes of the body by tossing it into the water. The following day, mourners gather for the funeral. Emma, Jocelyn, and their friends stand in solemn attendance. Emma remains distant, harboring cold resentment toward Jocelyn. In a phone call with her mother, Emma expresses her harsh view: "It's better this way. He got what he deserved." To her, his death feels like justice. Jocelyn, meanwhile, grieves in isolation, weighed down by sorrow. As the crowd disperses, Emma lingers, lost in thought, until she glimpses a Joker-like figure dancing beside her father's coffin. It's Jester. He vanishes in an instant, but it's clear he hasn't truly left. Concealed nearby, he silently watches Emma depart. Shortly after, cemetery guards arrive to remove the unwelcome intruder. Jester turns their task into a cruel game, disappearing and reappearing, driving them to frustration. One guard reaches for his phone to call the authorities, but before he can act, Jester trips the other guard. The man's head strikes a stone, killing him instantly. Laughing, Jester's dark magic claims another victim. His shoes had been tied together, another of Jester's malicious tricks. The remaining guard, horrified, begins to choke violently. Blood pours from his mouth as he struggles to breathe. Lodged in his throat is a whole apple, planted by Jester as part of his grotesque and twisted scheme. After a harrowing struggle to dislodge the apple from his throat, the surviving guard is left alone, shaken and disoriented. With his latest victim neutralized, Jester moves on, ready to unleash his next sinister act. That evening, Emma and Jocelyn meet at a bar, sharing a light-hearted conversation until Jocelyn mentions Emma's father. The comment triggers Emma's anger, prompting her to lash out with harsh words before storming out. Saddened, Jocelyn also prepares to leave, but is stopped by a man who claims to have worked with her father for 15 years. He reveals disturbing truths about the man's past, including a dark connection to Jester, who had influenced him to commit bizarre and troubling acts. Later, as Emma attempts to leave the area, she is confronted by Jester. He presents a deck of cards and invites her to choose one, but she refuses. Seeking escape, Emma crosses the street into a nearby store, unaware that Jester is following closely behind. Jester encounters two young brothers. The older boy grabs a handful of candy, while the younger politely asks for more. With a wave of his hand, Jester performs a magic trick, conjuring an extra piece for the younger child. Witnessing this, the older brother feels remorse and tries to return the excess candy. Suddenly, a hand reaches out from his bag, Jester's hand, emerging mysteriously from within. The eerie surprise terrifies the children, causing them to drop their belongings and flee. Back at Jocelyn's home, she notices a shadow outside and nervously opens the door, relieved to find her friends waiting. She quickly ushers them inside. Meanwhile, Emma visits another store, only to be followed once again by Jester. Initially mistaking his behavior for comedic antics, she soon realizes he is the same disturbing figure who danced at her father's funeral. Enraged, she shoves him away, causing him to drop a bottle that shatters on the floor. In a horrifying moment, Jester grabs a shard of glass and, to Emma's shock, slits his own throat, blood splattering onto her. He collapses, seemingly lifeless, only to spring back up moments later in a theatrical flourish. It was yet another of his twisted illusions, designed to unnerve her. Terrified, Emma flees back to the store, shaken and covered in blood. Alarmed by her appearance, the store owner contacts the police. 2 officers arrive and begin questioning Emma, who tries to explain Jester's disturbing prank. However, they dismiss her account, believing she fabricated the story. Suddenly, Jester enters the store. He theatrically snaps a pair of handcuffs onto his wrists, only to vanish and reappear beside the officers. Before Emma can process the situation, Jester places a hat on one officer's head. With a dramatic twist, he removes it, revealing the officer's head has seemingly disappeared. The headless officer stumbles in confusion as the horrified store owner flees. The second officer frees himself and draws his weapon. Jester, reveling in the chaos, dances with the headless officer. The armed officer fires, but misses, striking his partner instead, who collapses fatally wounded. Determined, he fires again, but Jester catches the bullet midair. Emma, in disbelief, escapes the scene as Jester vanishes into the night. Elsewhere, Jocelyn senses her father's presence in her room. As she gazes at his photo, it feels as though he has stepped out of the frame. Terrified, she rushes downstairs and urges her friends to flee to the nearby festival. The festival is in full swing, but Jocelyn remains haunted by eerie visions. Exhausted, she sits down, only to see her father's image once more. This time, she follows it. Meanwhile, Jester continues his cruel and calculated tricks, now targeting Jocelyn's unsuspecting friends. The scene unfolds with a chilling reveal. A cup is lifted to expose a set of human teeth, belonging to Jocelyn's friend, whose mouth now bleeds profusely. When the friend lifts a second cup, it appears empty, but moments later, his eyes fall out, leaving him blind. Screaming in agony, he stumbles through the crowd, triggering widespread panic. Instinctively, he reaches for help but collapses, prompting 2 others to guide him aside. As they do, they notice Jocelyn standing motionless, lost in reflection, her thoughts consumed by memories of her father and the moments they once shared. Suddenly, the atmosphere is shattered by Jester's arrival. In a shocking act, he injures one of Jocelyn's friends. Another friend falls silent, paralyzed by fear. At that moment, Jocelyn snaps out of her trance and confronts Jester, pleading with him to stop and offering to do whatever he demands. Meanwhile, Emma, still on the run, receives a call from her mother's number. But the voice on the other end belongs to Jester. His twisted words echo in her mother's tone, urging Emma to erase her memories and leave quietly. He warns that the game will continue if she stays. In his threats, Jester inadvertently mentions Jocelyn, hinting that she too is in danger. Emma's bond with Jocelyn is unbreakable. Refusing to abandon her, Emma heads toward the bridge where her father met his end. There, she is gripped by a powerful vision of him. Compelled by his presence, she rushes forward. In a poignant moment, her father's memory helps her confront the pain of the past. Overcome with emotion, she calls him Dad for the first time, marking the moment she forgives him. Yet in a cruel twist, her father wraps a bandage around her neck and pulls her back, only to let her fall from the bridge. As she plummets, flashes of Jocelyn's childhood flood her mind. Amid the chaos, a voice taunts Emma, berating her. But with sudden clarity, she realizes this isn't the real Jocelyn, it's a deception. Refusing to be manipulated, she ignores it. Emma then sees young Jocelyn and their father walking toward a shed where Jester awaits. Jocelyn signals Emma to follow. Inside, Emma witnesses Jocelyn's joy with their father, a happiness Emma herself never knew. Her father approaches, a knife protruding from his chest. Emma is devastated. Through tears, she asks why he seems content. He replies, "Why the tears? I was content." But it's all a ruse, an illusion designed to break her spirit with guilt. Emma, once resilient, now feels anger rising. Jocelyn's arrival intensifies her rage as she mocks Emma with painful memories. In a dramatic gesture, Jocelyn pulls the knife from their father's chest and hands it to Emma, urging her to end her own suffering. Summoning her strength, Emma refuses to give in. She confronts Jocelyn, calling her a fraud and vowing not to fall for the deception. In a bold act of defiance, Emma plunges the knife into Jocelyn's stomach. The illusion shatters, revealing the grim truth: Jocelyn is truly wounded. Jester's applause echoes through the room as Emma stands in shock, watching Jocelyn collapse, her life hanging by a thread. Desperate, Emma rushes to her sister's side. Jocelyn reassures her, "Don't worry. I know it wasn't intentional. You were under Jester's spell." But Emma, consumed by rage, turns on Jester, striking him with a knife. Despite her fury, it leaves no mark. She shouts, "Do what you will with me, but stay away from my sister." Hearing her plea, Jester silently departs. Time passes. Emma visits her father's grave, seeking solace and unburdening her heart. She speaks to him, unaware that Jester lurks nearby, eavesdropping. It's clear he hasn't left her life, still trying to exert his influence. But Emma, now wise to his games, remains undeceived. Jester retreats. Emma then heads to the bar where Jocelyn waits. Their reunion is bittersweet. Though they mourn the loss of Trix, Jocelyn's friend whose life was cruelly taken, their bond is stronger than ever. And that brings us to the end. Please subscribe for more recaps like this. Have a nice day.